Hi YouTube, this is Steven, and I'm here to share a Blender video showing a problem that I encountered, or maybe an idiosyncrasy I encountered working on assigning meshes to bones in an armature in Blender. So this took me about probably 5 hours of working, troubleshooting, etc. to fix or figure out, and hopefully this can save some time for a few of you at least. Okay, getting into it, we're going to just work on a standard startup file. I'm going to delete the cube that comes with it and then add a couple cylinders. First I'm going to change the view to be something that will make it easier for us to deal with. And so I'm going to add a couple cylinders to act as just placeholder meshes that will then attach to a 2-bone armature. Okay, so here we go. Mesh 1, let's give that a radius of 0.25 units, and depth of 2 is fine. I'm going to move this up by just 1 unit. Maybe I will, let's see. Okay, and apply that transformation for good measure. Okay, and we'll duplicate that, move it up by 2.5 on the Z. And go there. Okay, so we've got just 2 basic cylinders that'll act as our meshes for placeholders. We'll call them bottom and top. Okay. Now to add our armature, get a single bone, which we can't see, so turn on the X-ray mode. Alright, there it is. Good. So I'm going to scale this up so that it's in a reasonable position, and then apply that and enter edit mode, extrude along the Z for, let's say, 2.5 units. Okay, so now we've got a basic setup, probably the simplest one you can get with a 2-bone armature and 2 meshes for attaching to those bones. I'm going to rename those bones just to match bottom, top. Okay. So let's go back into right orthogonal view and make sure that everything in here, just make sure everything in the scene has rotation and scale applied and location applied. Alright, so the problem I encountered was whenever I was going along a path as I was directed to, of selecting a mesh, selecting the armature, and then setting the parent to a bone, I encountered some problems. Namely being, whenever you view the bone, or view the meshes themselves, you'll see the bone may be or may not be properly parented. So going on this top mesh attached to a bottom bone, that's no good. So whenever I try to attach to the top bone, whoa, problem. It appears to be rotated and transformed around this top joint. Doing the same, just as a check here, I do the same thing by reassigning the mesh to different bones, and lo and behold, it changes the rotation, even though the rotation was already applied, and it changes the origin, I guess, to wherever the tail end of that bone joint is. So if I were to then manually re-rotate these meshes so that they looked right and deparent them, they would snap. They would have those translations applied in the real world, or as it were, and then would be off in space, out of alignment in the world. So the only solution I found, and maybe this is the right way, maybe this is the way everyone else does it, but it took me a god-awful amount of time, so there you are, is going in and then selecting the armature, going into pose mode, which then allows you to select a single bone and still select other items. if you were to go into edit mode, you could also select a single, if you were to go into edit mode, you could still select a single bone, but you can't select any other items. Okay, so going back into pose mode, then you select the mesh and the bone, make that a parent, or a child of that bone, make that mesh child of the bottom bone, and now viewing the properties, you can see that this is properly assigned. Now, I still encounter the problem of if you click on this to reassign the mesh to that top bone, it still applies a strange transformation, so the only solution I've found to that was just don't do it, you know, if it's not broke. So going back just to see what happens whenever we move these bones around, just a proof of concept to show that it's actually attached to the right one, or the meshes are attached to the right bones. We'll select the top bone, rotate it, say 45 degrees, and the top mesh moves as expected. Select the bottom bone, rotate it negative 60 degrees, and everything is okay. And that's just for good measure. Reset the rotation on all of this, and there you have it. This like I say, this is a short video on a very specific part that for me just took a ridiculous amount of time and frustration to deal with, so I wanted to put it out there to get some feedback. Am I doing it wrong? Am I doing it right finally? And hopefully this can help somebody else along the way. Alright, thanks.